you said three. I think that there's a couple of sort of off spin ones. I put Kell Brook out there. I thought that was an interesting UK one. I can see you smirking.
Yeah, I mean,
and Liam Williams, but I mean, Liam Williams has his fight with Andrade, and then we can talk afterwards. But what do you think about Kell Brook?
well, so you got those two names.
Creative matchmaking there. That's what I call it. Creative matchmaking.
Done it. You're the promoter, and you've brought two fights up, and now everyone's talking about them. It's a fun fight. It's a fun fight with Kell. You know, we've had our back and forths over the years. I'm sure it's a fight a lot of people in Britain would love to see. So, you know, if you want to throw him in there with me, then I'm not going to say no.
I mean, it's just in terms of being a big UK name. The other one I know that's been talked about a lot is Liam Williams, and I think he's a great up and coming fighter, but he's got that world title fight coming up. So I've reached out or they reached out for me, and I reached out back. I never heard back from this promoter. So, but that's one that we'll keep talking. But I think they have a fight with Andrade first. So that's
what he's saying, from what I'm hearing, you know, I'm the guy he wants. So he, you know, I mean, if he's a man of his word, if the things that he's talking about are true, then, you know, he'd take the fight with me before he took the fight with Andrade.
Yeah.
It's probably a bigger money fight for him.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, money-wise, for sure. Money-wise, for sure. You know? Negotiation-wise, I'd have to say he'd be advised to do the Andrade fight first, from his point of view.
I mean, I think that would make off it, because I don't see him winning that. So I think that would kind of that would ruin the hype of.
Okay. That's another thing. That's another thing. I'm putting myself in their camp's shoes, and they believe they beat Andrade. They're much cleverer if they beat Andrade and then negotiate with us.
I mean, if they believe that.
You remember your last victory in the UK was against James DeGale. You wiped out James DeGale, you know, who was a household pay-per-view name. That was your. I mean, obviously, last year was a COVID year and everything, but that was the last fight. So you're coming off that pedestal, you know. You know, you've had some great wins over here, but at the same time, commercially, you're in another league at the moment. So you need to, as someone who's coming through, my advice would be take that world title fight, get something, and then you get a bigger chunk of the pie. If you want to make the fight now, it's certainly not 50-50 like I saw Frank was saying, you know. So, you know, that's just the promoter talking, you know. But you know, I think there's a load of great fights, and I think, you know, Kell Brook, Liam Williams is a great, you know, also big domestic fights, you know, and you know that's all great too. But I think the one big one on the for me this year is definitely Triple G, and that's one that has to get made. You know, that has to get made. That's the big one. You know, so.